And the people responsible for it are the directing duo of Joe and Anthony Russo. Guys, having gone through the Avengers experience and working with Tom Holland, what did you see in him that you thought would lend himself to the lead in this film?
Tom has an incredible charisma that is very rare, and it's hard to, it's something you're born with. It's not something that you can manufacture, charisma. On top of that, he's an incredibly profound performer. He has amazing instincts and natural gifts as an actor. And this was a very complex role that spanned a life cycle of this character, Cherry, a good 15, 16 years. And he goes from being a college student who falls in love to a boot camp trainee to a traumatized vet to a drug addict to a bank robber to someone who's incarcerated for a decade. It's a very complicated performance. So we knew we needed someone, A, who had the chops to do it, and that's Tom. B, had the charisma to carry us through the darkest moments of the movie so that you still felt empathy towards the lead character.
Was there something creatively liberating of stripping yourselves of the need of all the special effects and everything else and just have characters?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, but to be honest with you, like Joe and I have always loved the entire variety of what's available to us as storytellers and as filmmakers. We love all the tools and we love being pushed into new and different directions. We love shifting gears on ourselves because it's a way for us to use different muscles and surprise ourselves with what's possible. So yes, after sort of that 7-year 4-film run with the MCU where we were working very intensely with special effects, and it was, to return to a somewhat simpler form of filmmaking was refreshing and exciting. And again, we really got to draw on a lot of our techniques and ideas that we may have experimented with earlier in our career, but hadn't used in a while. So it was a very stimulating experience for us creatively.
Directors like Woody Allen and Martin Scorsese love to showcase their hometown of New York. It isn't often that we get to see Cleveland, and that is, I think, where you guys grew up. How creatively joyous was it to go to your hometown and show people where you came from?
I mean, it was amazing. It was an incredible experience. And I think that's what was so valuable about the book for us, is that it was a window into, the world that we knew growing up and the people that we knew growing up and what is now happening to those people and the collective existential crisis that they're all going through. The industrial Midwest has a very unique look to it. It's, there's a level of decay from the 70s and 80s when all the factories shut down, warehouse districts that are now being refurbished or repurposed. There's gentrification happening. And so these cities are growing up on top of the bones of these famous industrial centers. But that creates a really unique dichotomy. It also, when we were growing up there's a sense of a lack of forward momentum as kids, and we were able to escape that through our this dream of wanting to make movies. We got very fortunate and had a Cinderella career thanks to Steven Soderbergh. To be able to go back, the cyclical nature of a filmmaker, of being able to come out here, achieve some level of success, and go back and tell us a really important story about our hometown is as rewarding as it gets.
I know they give me the wrap, but I just want to ask a really quick thing, if it's okay. And that is, I mean, obviously in films, we've seen a lot of abuses, whether it be alcoholics or drug abuse. Is it difficult to tell a story and make it authentic to people who have been watching it on the evening news?
For audiences that don't have firsthand experience? Is that what you
I mean, when they turn on the news and they see all these stories, and then to go to a movie, is there a different insight they get?
Yeah, I mean, we're big believers in that. And that's something I think that we discovered with the Marvel movies. We really tried to imbue those movies with starting with Winter Soldier, starting with a lot of contemporary issues, socio-political issues that were giving Joe and I angst, and I think giving a lot of people around the world cause for pause and concern. We try to layer those movies with those kinds of that kind of storytelling and those kinds of issues. And I think that sometimes we discovered with those films, it can become easier for audiences to process very complicated things that they may be going through in their personal lives when they see a fantasy version of it on the screen. Now, while Cherry isn't quite as escapist or fantasy as those movies are, it is a movie. It's not your real life. So I think there is a way for cinema and good storytelling to allow people to access complicated ideas, complicated experiences in a way that makes it feel a little safer and a little less threatening to them because it's not their own personal life. And I think that's really important because it can be a way for people to process ideas, feelings, experiences that they may have a hard time communicating about with other people, but the film can sort of provide them with the experience of processing those emotions or ideas, or also perhaps be a catalyst for even speaking about those with other people. So, I think there's a bit of a magic in storytelling, and hopefully this movie can bring a little bit of that experience to some complicated issues people may be used to experiencing in a different way.
Well, thank you guys so much. It made me decide not to become a drug addict. So congratulations. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Timothy's called Cherry, and this is Scott Earle. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
And cut, please.